Before we get started, I'd like to do something that I do in all of my talks, and for those of you who have heard me speak, you know what I'm about to do, so don't spoil it for the new people. I need everybody to stand up. You didn't know you was going to have an exercise class today where you get the blood flowing and get people excited. I need 100% participation, please, so if anybody's sitting down, I'm going to call you up. All right, excellent. I need you all to put your hands up. It's not a political statement. But I need you to repeat after me. I feel good.
I feel good.
You guys don't feel good. I feel good.
I feel good.
I'm alive.
I'm alive.
I'm a champion.
I'm a champion.
I feel good.
I feel good.
I'm alive.
I'm alive.
I'm a champion.
I'm a champion.
Give yourselves a round of applause. As was stated, I am a proud alum of Virginia Union University. I'm excited about being here today. I will serve as your moderator. I am known to be very long-winded, so I think we'll probably get out of here about 4 o'clock. But in reality, I'm very passionate about what we're doing today, and I'm honored to be here. Just a little more about my background. I came here in 1996, left school in 2000 because I hit a brick wall. Anybody here as a student hit brick walls? Watch your hands. Anybody have to overcome struggle? Maybe have to overcome adversity. Is there a lot of adversity as an undergraduate student? Okay. So, I just want to make sure I'm talking to the right people. Make sure I'm talking to our union family. Because the people that you're here, that you're going to hear today, are people that are not strangers to struggle. They're not strangers to adversity. But the one thing that they've done, that you're striving to do, is they've made it. They've crossed the...
But Danielle is a Detroit native, and she is a professional singer and actress currently residing in the metro Atlanta area. She has performed on stages in cities such as Detroit, Richmond, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Edinburgh, Scotland, just to name a few. Her most recent on-stage performance was at the Alliance Theater in Atlanta, where she portrayed the dragon in Shrek the Musical, which was nominated by the Suzy Bass Award for Best Ensemble. Danielle has worked opposite of Jasmine Guy, Crystal Fox, Jennifer Holliday, Cornelius Smith Jr., T.C. Carson, for those of you who remember Living Single. Is that anybody remember Living Single? I see some folks nodding. If you haven't seen Living Single, go ahead and YouTube that. That's on my generation. Okay, Torian Black, Ann Nesby, and Afeni Shakur, mother of Tupac. Recently, Danielle was featured on 60 Seconds to Stardom, Stardom's website, as a fresh face in the industry. She is a proud member of the Actors Equity Association, a national professional union of actors in theater. She holds a Master's of Fine Arts in Theater from UCLA and a Bachelor's of Art in Speech and Drama from her beloved alma mater, Virginia Union University. She's a 2003 graduate. She is a proud member of the illustrious, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I see some folks throwing up some hand gestures. I don't know what that means. All right. By way of Beta Epsilon Chapter. In addition to being a performing artist, Danielle has taught and directed plays at the Southwest Art Center, Clark Atlanta University, where she was a professor of theater for 3 years, and at Tri-Cities High School, a nationally known, highly acclaimed, and award-winning performing arts program, where she is currently the director of drama and musical theater. Without further ado, I'd like to present our first presenter, Ms. Danielle Yvonne, whose topic is What's My Motivation? A look at the ways in which research inspires an artist's performance. Give a round of applause.
What was I so afraid of? Every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa.
Thank you so much, Rob, for that introduction. Good morning. Good morning. I am so very happy to be here to talk to you guys today. And I'm hoping, I wanted to ask, is there a wireless mic? Can I use that wireless mic? Okay. I just feel like I'm going to be moving from the podium. So I just wanted to have a way for you to hear me still. I'm going to put this down for now. All right. So again, I'm Danielle Yvonne, and I attended Virginia Union University from 1999 to 2003. I was a speech and drama major. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I got to Virginia Union by, there was a scholarship available for speech and drama majors. And my high school theater teacher, she said, go in the next room and record your monologue on videotape. And so I went in the next room because we had auditioned for all of the Michigan schools, and I had not gotten accepted to any of the Michigan schools. So at this point, you know, I was kind of down on myself and thinking like, well, maybe this isn't the career for me. You know, acting is pretty competitive. Maybe I should settle for something like journalism. I had applied to VUU to attend their journalism program, and I was just at a time in my life where I wasn't sure which direction I was going to go, even though I knew I wanted to go to college, because no one in my family had achieved that goal yet. I also knew that we didn't have the means to pay for college, so if I was going to go, it was going to be on me. And I was encouraged to drop out of a lot of the extracurricular activities I was involved in high school so that I could focus on my academics and obtain a 4.0 GPA. Unfortunately, I was not a 4.0 student in high school. I averaged around like a 3.2, which I think is cool. But of course, that doesn't qualify you for like a presidential scholarship if you want to go to college for free. So I put my entire faith on the gifts that I believe that God had blessed me with, and I believe that that was going to get me a college education, and it did. So I did my audition, we sent the videotape, and months later found out that I was a recipient of the Lilly Scholarship, which was funded by the UNCF for a totally full ride education for the 4 years that I would be here at Virginia Union University. And that was a major milestone in my life, and also the hugest testimony of the work of God in my life, and started my relationship with Him, as you know, just personally, as an 18-year-old student going to college, that God could do something so huge for little old me that began my journey and my close relationship with Him. And then here I am. So of course there was a lot of things that happened from then to now, but I want you to take a look at a clip. The clip is from the movie Facing the Giants. Have any of you out here ever heard of that movie, Facing the Giants? Okay. I ran across the clip first, as I was just searching for clips a while back, inspiring clips, and I ran across this one. And what is so funny about this is that I'd never seen the movie, only the clip. And so I was sitting at home one day doing some work, and I was watching TV, and this movie was playing, and I started watching the movie. All of a sudden, this same scene from the clip came up. And I said, oh my goodness, this is that clip. This is the movie. And I got to watch the entire movie, and it was such a moving and inspirational movie. So I'm just going to set it up to the fact that the coach has been appointed to coach this football team, and he's been having some struggles with the team accepting him. He's new, of course. Of course, as a teacher, you deal with, you know, what the parents are asking for, what the administration are asking for, and unfortunately, they have not been winning games. as they were expected to. And so he's facing with the challenge of trying to inspire and trying to encourage his team to win. And because they have been defeated so many times, it was a hard feat for him. And so I'm going to go ahead and play the clip.
So, Coach, how strong is Westview this year? A lot stronger than we are. You already written Friday night down as a loss, bro? Well, not until we can beat them. Here, bro. You too, Jeremy. What am I, trouble now? Not yet. I want to see you do the death crawl again, except I want to see your absolute best. What, you want to go to the 30? I think you go to 50. 50. I can go to 50 if nobody's on my back. Then you go to your back. Even if you can't, I want you to promise me you're going to do your best. All right? Your best. Okay. You going to give me your best? I'm going to give you my best. All right, one more thing. I want you to do blindfold. One. I want you to give me up at a certain point. You can go further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Get a tight hold, Jeremy. All right. Let's go, Brock. Keep your knees off the ground. Just your hands and feet. There you go. Go to the left. To the left. There you go. Very good effort. That way, Brock. Keep going. There you go. It's a good start. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go, Brock. Good strength. That's it, Brock. That's it. 20 yet? Forget the 20. You give me your best. You keep going. That's it. Now, don't stop, Brock. You got more in you than that. You gotta keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left. There you go. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Very best. You're very best. You're very best. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Don't quit on it. Keep going. Keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. That's it. You're very best. Don't quit on it. You're very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Don't quit till you got nothing left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. I want everything you got. Come on, keep going. Hard. Don't quit them. You're very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. Hey! I know what you said. I'm out of strength. You negotiate with your buddy to find more strength, but don't you give up on me, Brock. You keep going. You hear me? You keep going. You're doing good. You keep going. Do not quit on it. You keep going. It hurts. I know it hurts. You keep going. You keep going. It's all hard from here. 30 more steps. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Keep going. Burn. And let it burn. Burn. It's all hard. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Come on. Keep going. You promised me your best. Your best. Don't stop. Keep going. It's not too hard. You keep going. Come on, Brock. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. 20 more steps. 20 more. Keep going, Brock. Give me your best. Don't quit. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. walk around there feeling so ole. Don't tell me you can't give me more than what I've been seeing. You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field in your arms. Brock, I need you. God's gifted you with the ability of leadership. Don't waste it. Can I count on you? What is it, Jeremy?
I want 160.
Alright. So, the first time I watched that clip, again, I was in tears because I'm instantly able to parallel it to my life. And that voice that was telling me to keep going, keep going, keep going, don't quit, don't stop, even when it hurts. Then you compromise, and you tell your heart to negotiate with your mind, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. And then as I was watching it, I realized that the coach was intense, and he was more motivated and more driven and more important than the person who was actually on the death crawl. And if I wondered what would that death crawl have been if that coach wasn't there. When would he have stopped? But there was somebody there just drilling and drilling and drilling. So I want to talk to you about, again, what's my motivation? And I know this is about the arts I'm speaking of directly, but it can parallel to any type of major, any of your majors. What is your motivation? What is your goal? Why are you in this major? What is it that you want to do with your life? What is your motivation? And how can you use research, and I'll use a different phrase, extended knowledge, to increase or enhance your performance? And I speak performance as a theater person, but performance as a business person could be whatever your routine is. What is your performance? Whatever you produce is your performance. Okay? So what motivates you? That's a question. And then finally, how can your extended knowledge enhance what you already know so that you can be a better producer and you can have results rather than always just having questions and challenges without any results. And so I would say that started off at Virginia Union. We had a small theater program. We did maybe 2 shows a year. I performed in a couple of different plays. I was able to get more stage experience. I was also a part of the marching band. I played the trombone. I was also a cheerleader. I was a rah-rah for basketball season. And then, of course, I joined Delta Sigma Theta sorority. So I was a pretty busy student on campus, but I knew that there was a goal that I was trying to achieve, and I kept that goal in front of me every single day. Every time I woke up, every class I went to, I had that goal that, one, I was going to be what I felt like God was asking me to be. I felt like I had a responsibility to his calling and that I had to achieve it. And since he had blessed me with the opportunity to attend financially, I was not going to waste that opportunity, and I was going to do my very best to become the person that he was asking me to become. And so upon graduating from Virginia Union, I wanted to go to grad school. I wanted to further my education. And I started applying to New York University. It was my dream to go to New York and to just grace the Broadway stages. And by this time, I was confident in my ability to do so. But I kept filling out the application, and I didn't turn it in my first year. I ended up having to move back to Detroit because I could not stay in Richmond. And the second year came around, and I filled out the application to attend again, and I did not complete it. And my reason for not being able to complete it was because I was letting what was happening around me affect my situation. I had already been called to do this thing, and I have the knowledge, and I know that. But there were some things that were happening around me in my life that just wasn't adding up to what I thought I was supposed to be. So then clearly that's an indication that maybe there's a change that I need to make, or maybe there's another direction that I need to go in. But I want you to know that sometimes when you are facing adversity and when you face challenges, that it's not always an indication that you need to change paths. That a lot of times it's an indication that you need to change something about your character, or that there is a trait or a strength that you are developing, and that you need to go through this, and not just go through this, but grow through this experience so that you can obtain that character trait, because there is something being prepared on the other side of that's waiting for you. And so if you decide to bypass this challenge or not jump this hurdle, you won't finish the race and you won't be able to go to the next level. So anytime you're faced with adversity, I challenge you to allow yourself to be present enough, being in the moment enough to discern if this is a challenge that I have to switch, because, is this a switching of direction for me in my path? Or is this something that I need to plow through to be able to be strengthened and to develop some sort of character trait to get me to the next level, okay? But in order to do that, you have to be present. I know that this generation, and I'm 1 foot in this generation, we have the greatest wave of technology now. We have iPads and iPods and cell phones and PowerPoints and all of these different things that we have to look at to be able to view videos, FaceTime, Skype, to get things right now when we want it. When I was in high school, I was scuffling through the encyclopedia for my reports, and we didn't own a set, so I had to go to the library. But now we have Google, where you can just pull out your cell phone, which you always have, and you can just type in what you want to know, and the information is right there for you. So how great is that? So I encourage you to use that to your advantage. However, don't let it distract you, because all of this technology can also be very distracting, and it pulls us from being in the moment. How many selfies do we take? How many ussies do we take instead of just being in that moment and enjoying it? We have to be present enough to understand when we have to be in that moment and when it's a moment where we have to take advantage, or when that technology is being distracting and when it's also enhancing. And so with that, I'm bringing that up to say that we have all of this technology and all of these different ways in which to communicate our goals, in which to further ourselves beyond what we see and what's around us. And so use that to your advantage and not allow it to distract you, and always remain present and in the moment. I was a freelance actor from the time I graduated from UCLA all the way up until just recently in 2014, in the fall of 2014. And man, oh man, was that a challenge. And it was a challenge because I was living in Los Angeles, and I wanted so desperately. I graduated from grad school, I did a showcase, and in that showcase I got an agent and I got a manager, and I was going on auditions. I was walking, Tatiana Ali is coming in the audition, I'm walking out the audition. I'm like, yeah, okay, I hope you get it. Well, I hope I get it. We'll see who get it. And if, I'm walking past celebrities, and, I've been fortunate enough to be able to have certain opportunities on stage and TV and film with a lot of influential people. But then I was feeling empty, and there was something else that I was being called to do, and I wasn't aware of it, but I couldn't understand, why am I struggling? Why, can't there were certain challenges such as not being able to pay your rent, or not being able to eat, or not being able to get from where you needed to go. And so I faced a lot of challenges trying to pursue my goal. And there were so many times where I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's too hard. I have a master's degree, and I'm sitting up in the house eating tuna fish and crackers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I desire to be on stage. And then, of course, I have my friends who are around me, and I'm seeing them on TV, and some of them have made commercials, and some of them are doing some other great things. And, of course, the tendency to compare myself to them was creeping around. And I I gave into that, and then I also gave into the fact that I needed to work. So then I started working little odd jobs that distracted me and pulled me away from my ultimate goal. And I finally I went through so much adversity in Los Angeles that I finally it brought me to the place where I was present enough to understand that I have to, there was something else that I had to do in addition to performing. And that's what moved me to Atlanta, Georgia. And in Atlanta, Georgia, I still performed, but I also teach. And that feeling is it's a fulfillment that I have now. I'm very fulfilled because I get to share information from my experiences with young people that look like me, that that go through or are going through some of the same things that I went through as a teenager or as a college student, and it's liberating. And it also is a seed that is being sowed. And so that is something else that I learned, that you have to sow seeds. But I play this clip because there are going to be many giants, or what seems like giants, in your life. And all you have to do is hold on and keep pushing. And there's going to be what it feels like the weight of the world on your shoulders. What will sustain you through that is the ability to develop knowledge, extended knowledge about what you do, and to inform yourself, and not to wait on people to give you information, but to go after that information for yourself, and to study yourself to be approved, so that you don't have to rely on your professors to tell you everything, but you can have dialogue with your professors. You can engage them in conversations about what you discovered, and then in turn, they're learning just as well. So it never stops. You will continue to have trials. That doesn't go away. But how you get through those trials is the most important thing. If you can just hold on and stick to your goals and have faith, then you will achieve your goals. Again, there's some opportunities that I've had in my life that I never thought that I would have. People that I watched on TV when I was very, very young, and I'm sitting on stage and we're working. And I'm like, we're working, and I don't need your autograph because one day you're gonna need mine, and I became very, I'm gonna use this now because I just gotta move. But hello, testing, okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up soon. But I just want to leave you with this. We don't have a lot of time, but whatever it is that you are called to do, and one, discover that, find that, do extended research on that. If that's soul searching, because I don't limit research to books. I don't limit research to books. I've learned a lot about myself. So do some soul-searching research and find out who you are, what your purpose is, and what you're called to do, what you're passionate about, and pursue it with gusto. And don't allow any challenges to stop you. Maybe they might delay you because you have to learn something, because you never stop learning. You are always learning. So allow yourself to learn the lesson and keep moving. And even though you may be challenged to go to the 50-yard line, know that you can go to the end zone and make it. And so I want to just leave you with passion, purpose, preparation, perseverance, and backing that up with knowledge and faith. All of that will bring you to your goals, will bring you to success. And soon you will be up here as well, sharing that information with others. And success is when preparation meets opportunity. So know that the opportunities are coming, but also know that you can do it. Believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. And that's all I have to say. Of course, I could always say more, but that's all I have to say.
So good morning, everyone. Good morning. So again, my name is George M. Johnson, and my presentation is again on, it's called Passion Over Profit and why I took an $18,000 pay cut. So I think we all have had the experience of the question being asked, so what do we want to be when we grow up? Usually it's asked around kindergarten or first grade, second grade, and then they have you come in dressed up as whatever profession it is that you want to be. Typically we always answer a firefighter, a police officer, a vet, a doctor, or a nurse. Since I was a small child, I always knew I wanted to be an accountant, as crazy as that sounds. I had an affinity for numbers, and so I let numbers kind of guide my life through everything that I do. But I always knew that I either wanted to be like a stockbroker or an accountant. Going back to living single, Kyle Marker, he was like this powerful Wall Street stockbroker, and I was like inspired by that as a young child. So when I got to Virginia Union University, I actually met Miss Patricia Murray, who was sitting in the audience. She was my advisor, and she kind of advised me, instead of being an accountant, to go more into the field of finance, which is what I ended up doing. So, my life. I came to Virginia Union University in 2003. 2006, I pledged out for Phi Alpha. I graduated cum laude with a BS in finance. Then I began work as an insurance claim adjuster. So I was actually in my field, technically, doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I then decided to go back to grad school, where I graduated summa cum laude from VUU State University with a master's in human resource development. It was kind of at that time that I started to realize that maybe banking industry wasn't exactly for me, but I still was trying to figure things out. I was about 24, 25 years old. Again, as a child, they ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's a very unrealistic question. We really don't know what we want to be, because at 25, I still didn't know what it was that I wanted to be. But again, I still knew that numbers had something to do with whatever it was that I wanted to be. I then began working as a temp at Virginia, or I began working as a temp at Union in 2010, and then I moved up to becoming the student accounts coordinator. Then I worked my way all the way up to becoming the director of student accounts here. For me, that was a big deal. I come from a city that's 3 square miles. So for a black kid coming from an urban city in New Jersey, 3 square miles, to become a director of a department at a college, it was a big moment for not only me, but for also my family. Again, still thinking I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I then applied to a job at the prestigious Georgetown University and got it. So then I became the manager of a department at Georgetown, and then within 8 months of that position, I was promoted to the director of third-party billing at Georgetown University. So I was making the salary, I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I had purchased a home in Richmond, I was renting it out. So on paper, everything seemed good. Everything should have been good. But when I got home every night, I was miserable. I was miserable, and it took me a while to figure out exactly what was going on, but I realized that the job that I was doing wasn't a service. Anybody could be doing that job. Anybody could be pushing those numbers. I wasn't really serving, number one, our community, because I was at Georgetown. So I'm dealing with people who already have money, people who foreign embassies are paying for their students to come, but I wasn't working within the black community. I wasn't doing anything to help further the black community. Even though I was out there and I was an example for others to follow, I wasn't necessarily doing enough to be able to reach back to pull others along with me on the journey. And so that's when I had to kind of come to terms and make the decision of leaving something as big as Georgetown and going into a field where the money may not be on paper what it may seem to be. But that's where research came in. I applied to a job as a community health worker, which, I got the job and they told me what the salary was going to be. So I had to make a tough decision. Do I keep my high-paying job and stay miserable every day? Or do I go into a field where I know I'll be able to help our community and be able to reverse a lot of the stigmas and a lot of the oppressions that we face as African Americans and communities? And so what I did was the actual research, because even though on paper it seemed like an $18,000 pay cut in salary, realistically it wasn't. And that's the importance of, like, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. Dan Ye was saying, research isn't always in a book. Research is just about inquisition and about inquiry, and about really not just taking things at the surface level of what they are, but really breaking things down, looking them over, and coming out with, you know, an end result. So when I really broke down what I was spending in parking at Georgetown, which was over $1,600 a year, gas, the difference in gas, the difference in gym membership, the difference in food if I switch jobs, the fact that I paid for healthcare at Georgetown, and with my new job, they pay for my healthcare 100%. And the amount of taxes because of the different salary. It was really only a $6,500 pay cut, which I was able to live with, again, having to live within my means and change a few things. But even with that, my platform is always making your passion your profit. So I knew that there was going to be a way that I was going to be able to turn this role as a community health worker into an avenue of multiple income streams. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. So this is just what a community health worker is. We're members who are chosen by the community or organizations to provide basic health and medical care to the community. We're used to getting places where physicians, social workers, and other members of the medical community are unable to reach people and clients. I will be seen everywhere. Where there are prostitutes, you will see me out there working, doing needle exchange. Where there are sex clubs in DC, there are these sex clubs. I'm in there handing out condoms. I'm at metro stations handing out condoms. I'm everywhere in the community. A lot of times when people fall out of physician care within HIV, it's because of an array of issues, and doctors are unable to find them. We go door to door to people's houses. We find their neighbors. We find, if they're in a crack house, we find what crack house they're in. And we go there, again, all under safe circumstances, but we pull these people out within our community and we get them back into care. So my research involves focus groups, surveys, first-hand data, testing, second-hand data, quantitative and qualitative. My research is very simple to start. How many people in here have had sex? That's how my research starts. So, we ask, that's usually our first question. How many people have had sex? People raise their hand. Then after that is, how many of you have had an HIV test? So that's actually a decent amount. But for those who didn't have an HIV test, that's where my research begins. Because I need to find out, why are people in our community not getting tested? And then I also need to find out, if you are getting tested, are those people who are getting tested regularly? And that's what creates my research and my data and my results. I'm wearing gloves because I'm actually a tester. So I actually, in addition to doing case management, and in addition to speaking on panels and going out into the community, I actually test people as well. This right here is actually an HIV test. This little test right here is what creates all of these numbers. It creates the fact that, or it lets us know that African Americans are, you know, the racial group that's most affected by HIV today. It lets us know that the rate of new HIV infections in African Americans is 8 times that of the white-based population size. This tells us that the gay and bisexual men account for the most new infections among African Americans. Young gay and bisexual men, aged 13 to 24, are typically the most that are affected by this group. In 2010, African American women accounted for 29% of the estimated new HIV infections among all adult and adolescent African Americans. But again, all of these numbers come simply from this and from getting tested. Medical research. Many people who don't, you know, or who aren't aware of the epidemic, back in the day, the 80s and the 90s, people who were HIV positive were taking up to 30 pills a day. They were called cocktails, and they were called cocktails because they didn't even know what they necessarily were doing to the body at that time. These 30 pills were giving life expectancies of only 8 to 15 years. So you fast forward to 2015, and you see where medical research has brought us. Now there are 31 different types of medications that are all 1-a-day pills. So there are many people who are living with HIV 30, 40 years and living normal life expectancies. HIV has actually been classified now as a chronic illness similar to diabetes. The only reason it's not as similar to diabetes is because there's still stigma and shame around HIV. And that's one of the things that me as a community health worker goes out and has to fight against, especially for our community, because it's important that, you know, we're getting tested regularly. So as a community health worker, as I was saying before, research is the most important thing. But when you're able to do research, there are other avenues that you can dispense that information. I'm considered an expert in my field. So when I go to planning council meetings with the doctors and the PhDs who are typically Caucasian, they're giving me all of the statistics and the data, but they're not necessarily able to dispense it out to our community in a way that I'm able to dispense it out. And so for that, there are people who have me come on radio shows to speak about HIV and to speak about social justice and to speak about all of these different things because I'm the expert in that area. Research also leads to writing, which, as you can see, I've written for Ebony a couple of times. I've written for many blogs, but this is not like writing for free. This is paid. So I get paid to write for all of these different blogs on various Black issues and African American issues with stigmas and oppression. And so it's just very important to know that research isn't, again, it's not as simple as just opening a book. It's not as simple as just reading what's on the surface. It's about actually inquiring about what the issues are and then being able to dispense that information to go out to the community. So this is what I live by, which is make your passion your profession and the profit will come. It's a quote that I created and I live by it every day. The biggest reason that I think it's important that we're making our passions our professions, especially in the African American community, is because a lot of times we're funneled into jobs that we think are the typical jobs that we're supposed to accept or the typical jobs that we're supposed to take. If your passion is being a barber or if your passion is being a beautician, that's okay. And what it is my job to do is to make sure that your parents know that it's okay. What it is as alumni and academics for us is to teach you all the correct steps to make you a niche market and to make sure that your branding is better than that of the next barbershop down the street or the next beauty shop down the street. So whatever it is that you want to do or that you're passionate about, know that you can make it your profession and that you can make profit from it. And never be afraid to really follow your passion and follow your dreams.
To be here today. I remember the first day I walked on this campus and I was undecided as a student. So I chose mass communications because it seemed like the most easiest major. Biology was way too difficult. English to me seemed a little boring, and at that time I had a stutter problem, so that was like, no way. And psychology was too intense for me. So I chose the safe way, and I became a mass communications major. I had an identical twin sister who attended school with me as well, so we both chose mass communications. It was something that we wanted to do. We both went to class with each other. The teachers don't know that, but we did switch off every now and then. I took some of her final exams and she took some of mine. So we got the degree, and that was the most important part. So, a lot of people always ask me, how did you become a hairstylist and a makeup artist? And I tell people this. The way I really started was I made a commitment to myself. I made a vow to myself. I didn't have the support. I didn't have family or friends that wanted to lose a career. At 16 years old, I told my parents I wanted to go to cosmetology school. It's like, you're right, you're going to college. So that's why I came to Virginia Union. I attended Virginia Union from 2003 to 2007. After that, my parents said, need a safe job. So I started school, I started working at Merrill Lynch. From 2007 to 2014, I worked as a finance major. Finance was not my thing. I was in communications and now here I was jumping into finance. It was just something that I was good at, but it was not my passion. While I was there, I attended New York Film Academy. I earned a certificate in digital filmmaking. Right after that, I attended Drexel University, and I obtained a master's degree in 1 year while working full-time at Merrill Lynch. Right after I got my master's degree, my passion as a hairstylist came back to life. And I was discovered as a hairstylist. I then became a motivational speaker out of nowhere, right? Then I attended Paul Mitchell Cosmetology School, and I graduated last week. But how I attended Paul Mitchell School was this. I got offered for a job, another job working at Bravo TV, and it required me to have a license in cosmetology. I remember sending that email off to the guy telling him I do not qualify for this position. Once I sent that email off, I went right around the corner to the Paul Mitchell School and I said, hey, when is the next night school starting? And they said, it starts on Monday. Here was a Wednesday. And I said, okay, I'll see you Monday. And the guy said to me, Alisa, but wait, you don't have any financial aid. We start school on Monday. You will not be able to make it into this class. And I said, I will see you on Monday. And sure enough, I was there on Monday, starting. Then I founded my bridal business last year in the hotel of Los Angeles, the Glass Slipper Wedding. And in the first year, we grossed over $35,000 off of social media and referrals. This past August, I left my corporate America job, my safe job, my moneymaker, my bread and butter. I left that to pursue my dreams as a hairstylist and makeup artist. And then just last week, the night before graduation, I was signed to one of the largest artist agencies in the world. So people again then ask me, how did you do it? I made a commitment to myself and I said, my name is Alisa Clanton and my success as an artist is non-negotiable. My name is Alisa Clanton and my success as an artist is non-negotiable. When I made that commitment to myself, I knew that no parent, no friend, no family member could distract me or deter me from my goal as a hairstylist or makeup artist. So I think all of you should make that commitment to yourself today. And we're going to do it together. We're going to raise our right hand. We're going to say, my name is, you're going to say your name, not my name. All right? And you're going to say whatever your passion is. Whatever your passion is, okay? You're going to say, my success as a whatever is non-negotiable. And really mean it when you say it. And from this day forward, really mean it and make it non-negotiable. All right, y'all ready? All right. My name is Alisa Clanton. And my success as an artist is non-negotiable. My name is Alisa Clanton. And my success as an artist is non-negotiable. All right, yeah. All right, so when I found out that I wanted to be a hairstylist and makeup artist, I studied two things. The top three things that I began to research, and the first one was, I researched myself. If you do not know who you are, you're not going to know where you're going. I invented Alisa Clanton. I first made my goals, and every 3 to 6 months, I constructed my goals. I remember saying, the first 6 months, I said, if I ever receive the VUU logo on one of my pictures, that means I can retire, I can quit. I'll be good. In the first 6 months, I got the VUU logo. Then after that, I said, if I do one celebrity, I just want one celebrity. After that one celebrity, I'll quit. I promise, I'll quit. I'll do what my parents want me to do. And within the first year, I received one celebrity. After that, I said, I just want to see my work on TV. I want to flip through the channels on TV and see my work on TV. After that, I'll quit. I promise I'll quit. And I see my work on TV. All right, so I wrote down goals. Anybody know what an elevator pitch is? An elevator pitch, for those who don't know, is what you would tell somebody about yourself in 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to make a first impression. Everyone knows my elevator pitch. If I'm in the grocery store, the nail salon, my little 2-year-old cousin, everyone knows who Alisa Clanton is. I have this philosophy, if you stand within this of me, you're gonna know who Elite Clanton is. You have to start building your brand. You have to let people know who you are and where you're going. The mistake that people make as young people, we don't want to tell people what we're doing. We want it to be a secret. Keeping it a secret, no one can help you. When students come to me and say, Alita, I want to do this in life, I can help them. If you're silent, I cannot help you. Your professors cannot help you. Your friends cannot help you. No one can help you if you're silent. Discover your strengths. Discover your weaknesses. I always discover my weaknesses, but I can develop more. That is very important to making everything your strength. Research your passion. Know what your competition is. Get into the bridal business, being a hairstylist and makeup artist. There's tons of competition out there. I study my competition. Don't hate your competition. Embrace your competition. Use that to make yourself better. Know your 5-year plan, know your 10-year plan. And that might be difficult for some of you young people. But at least know your 5-month plan or your 10-month plan. Know your progression model. Know where you want to be. Whether you work for someone or you work for yourself, know the steps to getting to your goals. Whether the next step is a manager, whether the next step is a director, know exactly where you want to be or where you're going. Research your friends. I found out when I started grad school, when I started this industry, I didn't have time for people. And my friends disappeared. Make sure the friends that you have are those friends that are going to support you emotionally, maybe financially, spiritually. Make sure those friends are those people that are going to support you and help you. Not those friends that are going to tell you you're not going to be nothing. Because I had those friends. Those friends that laughed when I told them I wanted to do hair and makeup. Make sure those friends are going to be friends that support you. And it is okay to change your friends, that you will change your friends. As you grow and as you get further and further into your careers, the people around you are going to change. The majority of my friends now are celebrity hairstylists and makeup artists like myself. And I still have my other friends around. Now all my friends who did not support me then are now trying to come back and support me now. I don't need you now. You weren't there for me before. Research made me who I am. I was a hairstylist. I was a creative individual. But I never thought once I would have to study all of these different fields. I had to study psychology. I had to know how people think, how to attract people to me, how to get into people's heads. I had to understand that. I had to know finance. I had to know how to pay out my workers, how to balance my income and my expenses. New venture planning, I had to know how to write a business plan, how to market myself. Management, I need to know how to manage my 6 employees. I have employed students and I have employed old professors. I can make dreams come true. I had to know marketing and social media. Economics, I had to know economics. Web design, I had to develop my website. I had to know the latest technology so that I can showcase my work, so that I can do presentations. I had to know how to write English. But I knew English, but I had to know exactly how to write things correct. I had to know the proper communication skills. Every job that I get is done through email. There's no phone conversations. Ever. Everything is done through email. I had to know law. I had to know how to write contracts. I had to know what I was getting into. I had to know law. I had to know a little bit of acting. Because when those people told me that I wasn't going to be nothing, I had to act like everything was okay. I had to smile and say thank you for everything. My first job, though, a woman put me in the corner and she said, get on the corner and do the hair. I said, thank you. My second job, the guy looked me in the face and said, you would never make it in this industry. I smiled and I said, thank you. I always act. No one ever sees when they give them the best of me. Make sure you put on your game face, your acting face. Don't let people see that they're getting the best of you. I always smile and say thank you. Cosmetology was the last thing I studied. I always wanted to fulfill that dream of going to cosmetology school, so I made sure I did that. That was the last thing I studied, but amongst all these things, if you notice, I live in a fun world, but it's a business. Everything boils down to business. Make sure you know how to do a lot of these things. No matter if you want to be a football player, a basketball player, the doctor, the lawyer, the police officer, it is all a business. I never thought hair and makeup would be such a business, but it's a business. I do this 24/7. I do this more than I do actual hair. I work about maybe 3 days a week, about 8 hours a day, if that. And I make about $1,000 every time I go out to work. So far, my wedding business has pulled in I've been grossing over $11,000 in income, and we're just starting. This is my resume because I have done that research. NBC, Saturday Night Live, Dove commercials, Vogue, the New York Post, Bravo TV. This is my resume. It wasn't my creative talent that got me there. It was the research that got me there. When I started this campus, I started doing hair in Newman Hall. Yeah. And I was a campus hairstylist, and I thought I was good. But I think now that I think back, I was only good because I was free. So everybody came to me. So maybe I wasn't that good. I went from charging $0 to my first day on set charging $25 to now I charge to pull your hair back in a ponytail $500. The power of research. I'm no better of a hairstylist than I was when I started in Newman Hall. I'm the same exact person. But research showed me my net worth. Education showed me my net worth. Everybody know this person? Yes. If I told you I was on set with Beyonce, would you guys believe me? Yes. I had the honor of doing hair for Beyonce's dancers. And I was on set with her the entire time. This image right here is not Beyonce, it's Beyonce's body double, but that is Beyonce's wig that I got a chance to brush. So, Beyonce's dancer, her name is Kim. One of Beyonce's dancers' name is Kim. I worked with her at McDonald's, my very first job, back in 1999. We worked together at McDonald's, and then here we were on the same exact set. Respect people. You never know who someone is going to become. You never know who's going to get you your next job. Make sure you're always respectful to your students, to your professors, to your siblings, to your parents. Be respectful, because that might be your next person to hire you. Or that might be the person you see down the road. Kim, I did Kim's hair for the Beyonce commercial. And I'm going to play this right now. Listen to the message that Beyonce says.
I had a choice to stand still or move forward, to let things happen or to make things happen. Every day I wake up, I make a choice not to let the world decide for me. I decide for me. I decide to get.
If you heard Beyonce's message, she said, I make a choice to get going. I don't let the world decide for me. I decide for me. I decide to get going. So I tell you all to get going. I'm going to leave you with this one quote. Every minute that you're not living your dream, someone else is. Thank you. Twitter. And I want you to follow me right now. This is an interactive PowerPoint presentation. I want everybody tweeting things that you like, things that you see, things that you don't like. Be kind to me now. But follow me at See My Style Events on Twitter. And I promise I'll follow all you guys back once we get started. So let me exit this. Okay. So I had cut my intro short because I wanted to show basically a quick video of myself. You guys can what did I do? Go back. You guys can watch that and basically explain.
Las Vegas, it's the 30th annual Stellar Awards. Please welcome multi-platinum Stellar Award nominee, Michelle Williams.
So this is just a little clip of me working. I want you guys to kind of tweet through the presentation. Let me know what you think. Again, be gentle. I will follow you back on Twitter like the celebrities do. From See My Style Event Planning. Now, a couple of you wanted to see me behind the scenes to really get an idea of the role and responsibilities as a planner that I do on the day of coordinating. My staff and I are about to do an early morning princess-themed baby shower setup. Feel free to follow me on this journey and watch me turn events into experiences. Tweet that, events into experiences. Tweet that right now. Go ahead, tweet it. These rose petals I purchased. Of course, the glassware is purchased. The glassware under here is purchased, but I made these. Just bought some blinked out ribbon and just glued it around, just to kind of update this piece. This was something, a piece that I wasn't using for like years, so I had to renovate it, basically reinvent it for me to use it again. It's my coin. I hand make a lot of stuff and then I purchase when I have to. Let's tweet right now. YouTube works. Tweet back. Tweet back. Come on.
place settings for 50 people, maybe about 30-ish RSVP, 30 or 40-ish RSVP. So I always do the extra seating. When a vendor is late, the point of the planner is to have a B, C, and D plan in place. Things are bound to happen, so don't panic. That's the point of having a planner. They handle all the logistical portions. Vendor, the cake vendor, linen vendor, DJ is late. The event planner always has a plan B. They know what to do, and they're the contact person, so they know what's going to happen, how long, and they're staying in constant communication with the planner to know what's going on. So that's the point of the planner. If no one's here, then you show up and things aren't done, tables aren't set, it's set.
And it caught me with my mouth open. Come on. Don't do that.
App is looking confused. You need a direct contact person on the day. So,
It's almost.
that's the deal. My staff here, they always have my back with anything that sometimes things can get really chaotic, and it's nice to have a balance of people to kind of take care of things where there's a smooth transition from one part to another. So keep coming, I see my side. There we go.
Period. Introducing the king and queen, Brianna and Steven.
So basically, pretty much that's the end. I just wanted you guys to see, basically, in a nutshell of what I do.
To see my style event decorated, conquered. They're having a great time in there. So next time.
Okay. So that's pretty much what I do. I'm an event specialist, certified wedding planner. I do wardrobe styling for my clients, weddings, fundraisers, all types of events that anybody hire me for, I pretty much do. So again, it's an interactive presentation. Please tweet anything that you see, anything that you like, anything that I've said, anything that you're thinking. Right now I'm going to discuss how research pretty much, as Alika was talking about a portfolio, I like to do vision boards. So every year I do a vision board. Pinterest is really good for vision boards if you guys don't want to do the old-fashioned magazine, cutting things out. Do Pinterest, but this is the many faces of See My Style. It's me at a wedding, helping somebody. I'm at a photo shoot. I'm with my bride. I'm directing vendors. I'm working. I'm doing on my knees, building a set. I'm at a destination wedding. So these are the many faces of See My Style. Pretty much, I pretty much do it all when it comes to events. So right here, I'm gonna just touch a little bit on research, on how research is basically my business. It's basically what I do. It's basically how I get my money, how I network with my clients, how I build referrals, and how I match myself with my clients. I have to work with the right appropriate clients to get the right result. So my consultation research, this is a past couple of mine. Megan and Jeremy, they were 26 years old, full-time employed, Jehovah's Witnesses. Their wedding date was last year. In August, their budget was about $90,000 for their wedding. Yes. Guest expectancy was 400 plus people, so this was going to be a big wedding. They had theme and colors, and this was going to be a wedding in Metro Detroit area, not a destination. So the local, I had to research that as far as vendors and where they wanted to go. So I always build a timeline, 9 to 11 months. We're going to start from here. These are the things that I'm doing. The first thing I do is a venue research. Where can we have this wedding? What do they like? What don't they like? What area of expectancy do they think their guests will travel to? So this is the venue, and so it's me constantly calling and staying in communication with people. Vendor research. I'm booking the venue, entertainment, florist, photographer, anything my client wanted here. This is what we're looking. Any rental equipment that they might need for their event. So the venue was the first thing. That's the biggest monster that I have to research and attack. Once you have the venue, then everything else will come into place. So coming to 6 to 8 months, I'm right here. So right here, tweet hashtag free and fat. Free and fat, because this is what I'm getting now. I'm assisting with menu selection. So when we're doing menu selection, the bride wants to eat. And she wants me to eat with her. And then she wants my opinion. And then she wants to go to the cake. Then she wants me to eat. Then she wants me to eat with her. So we're constantly eating. It's free, it's fun, but then we're fat too. So we're doing menu selection. We're booking the bakery. We're trying to see what's the best, what cake she wants, what's elaborate. Booking wedding transportation. Does she want a limo? Does she want a party bus? Does she want to drive herself? What does she want to do? And we're booking the reception entertainment, and you'll see that later on. So these are things that we're looking at. So now I'm in the 4 to 5 months time frame. Now we're doing invitation selection. So this is her actual invitation and her ring. This is where she goes, I didn't know paper could be so expensive. So people go, I didn't know a planner could be so expensive. Like Aletha said, you price your worth. And I know I'm good at what I do. So I price my worth. So anytime you're picking elegant paper, it's going to be priced. So these invitations take a lot of research and a lot of time. Does she want a picture on there? What type of paper does she want? How many inserts does she want? It gets really detailed. So these are things that we're doing within that time frame. 3 months. So we're almost down to the wire. This is what we're doing. We're finalizing the guest list. You know, you people who don't RSVP, your mom, your grandma, you know grandma not gonna RSVP, so you RSVP for her. So you're finalizing your guest list. We're mailing out wedding invitations. We're booking Aletha so she can do our makeup. She says she have a bridal, so I'm gonna have to get her card so we can swap business. We're finalizing wedding rehearsal details. We're doing all this. We're ordering ceremony programs. So all these things are coming into play. Sometimes my brides want me to do do-it-yourself projects. So I'm creating menu cards or they're doing things. So it's a lot of things that can get involved in that. So 2 weeks, day before, we're down to the wire. This is what I'm doing. Hashtag going crazy. Put that. Hashtag, tweet that right now. This is what I'm doing. I'm assembling emergency kits. I'm calling the venues. I'm making sure that my research was effective. So all the research that I did on the vendors and the venues, all the money that the bride has invested in me and my time, I'm making sure that I'm beneficial. I'm making sure that what I did is going to be beneficial. So these are the things that I'm doing. Preparation plus passion, that's tweet that. This is where the research is the preparation and the passion is me, because I love what I do. So now I'm investing in the research and investing in myself, and that's merging together. So this is the finishing result. Oh, say it again, tweet that. Oh, I like that, thank you guys. So this is the reception site. So all the research, all the vendors, all the learning that I did, all the stress was all because of this. This is her reception site. These are pictures of her centerpieces. This is the head table over there. So I just wanted you guys to really see images of what research can do and how it pays off and how you get a final product. This is her part of her candy table that she wanted. We switched that off with the rosette linen. Ice sculpture. Her mom really wanted her to have an ice sculpture. Really wanted her to have an ice sculpture. So Megan and Jeremy, that's what I came up with. Just a congratulations. Ice swan. This is the spandex linen and chair cover that you can see. Just another view of the reception and centerpieces. Free and fat and food. This is things that we tasted, the delicacy. These are some of the desserts that she had. Really good. Events and 2 experiences. Hashtag See My Style Life. You can tweet that. And this is the couple. So, and I hate product placement, but you know, somebody has their iPad in there. So, but this is when I look at my work and look at my clients and I say, this is why I do this. Everybody's happy, everybody's having a good time, everybody's partying. They're thanking me. That's me in the background. Kiki Wyatt sung her wedding song to her first dance. So that's me in the background on the phone with her manager, making sure she had food to come out with because she was pregnant at the time. So again, I had to research with her to make sure her needs were met. So that's me in the background on the phone. This is the couple having a good time during their first dance.
As you can see, the people are sitting and watching. This is the bride and groom and the bridal party dancing, having a good time. So these are the guests. And as you can see, it was 400 plus guests. Still guests are sitting at the table too. So the dance floor was full. Everybody's having a good time. And you know when the shoes is off, come on. When the shoes is off, you know you've done it. So, and this is one of my favorite shots of the couple. So this is, you know, she had to show off her red bottoms. Hashtag red bottoms, Christian Louis Vuitton. She had to show that off. But this is why I love what I do. First of all, it's a wedding. It's one of the biggest important things in somebody's life, and I'm able to give them that. I'm able to share the experience with them. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tweeting. Please follow me on social media. I'm on everything. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.